top of a head. There's a top, and there's a hammer, and another hammer. What do these things all have in common? A man holding a hammer. He did something. He sure did something. Anyway, here you can see DNA. We use that. There's a crime. There's a crime. That's what I want to tell you. There's a crime, and it involved a hammer. Welcome to Forensic Files.
Dun 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 dun. The footprint in the goggles. The bullets.
Seattle, Alaska. I don't know where that is. St. Louis. All places where this crime didn't happen.
What is your emergency?
My wife was murdered by a man with he came into my house with a hammer, and he looked a lot like me, but he wasn't me. He wasn't me. I didn't murder my wife with a hammer. I had nothing to do with it. But when I came in, after long nights, I saw her murdered with a hammer, and I know my tone doesn't convey this, but I am quite upset. I'm very upset by this, and it really, what a horrible thing to happen to her. You know, can you send the police over?
Now that poor dear sweet Janet Jeopardy Jenko Jefferson Jordash Jenkins was the sweetest darn darling, and when I walked in and saw her body splood across the floor, I done went over and analyzed it.
And I come into the living room, and there she is in a pool of blood, and of course the hammer sitting right next to her. You know, I came to the conclusion that Miss Jenkins was not giving us the right story, you know? He said he went home, had a slice of cheese, and went to bed. That's actually not the story at all. It's not the story. The evidence doesn't show that this was the story.
And I just want the truth, and that's what I'm gonna give you. Oh God, it's so hot.
No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. They accused me of it, and I'm sitting here on death row, but I didn't do it.
Hi, I'm the ghost of that dead woman. I'm a girl ghost, you can tell from my pink sunglasses. In heaven, what they do is they give you different colors of glasses so they know what gender you are. They're very gender normative in heaven. That's a Christian society, obviously.
Comes out that the hammer's got his DNA on it. I know, because we went to forensic experts. We got the picture looker at her.
Yeah, I'm a professional photograph identifier looker at her analyst. So this one right here, that's a picture. This is not a picture. That's a picture of a picture. Here's another picture. So as you can see, I know what I'm talking about, and he's guilty. That's all I have to say.
And we sprayed that hammer. If you think we didn't spray that hammer with luminol, I mean, you're goddamn out of your skull.
90% powder. It is compressed into a solid, making it a killable object.
Goddamn thing lit up right like a Christmas tree. And I'm Jewish. What are the odds?
He was so guilty that I walked right into that room and I could smell it off his scrotum.
You see, when powder is mixed with a liquid, we never know if a person is going to die by this happening.
The evidence shows that someone came home, took a hammer out of the toolbox, then put on an MC Hammer album, and then clubbed a woman with a hammer. Blunt force trauma to the head. But of course, she smoked a blunt before the blunt force trauma, so it's been a little iffy in that department. We can't tell if maybe that was part of it, that she wanted to smoke a blunt and then have blunt force trauma to her head. But we won't figure that out until we get the results back. We'll have.
No one ever suspects. It's a cigar.
So, smoking a blunt, which it turns out is not a sin. Thank God, thank Jesus, and the Most High.
I have so many files that prove my case. Boom! Boom!
We did, in fact, interview the blunt that may have caused the blunt force trauma to the head, and he was really not cooperative. He didn't really want to work together with the police department. We did rough him up a bit in there, but we didn't get anywhere with him. He wasn't talking. We weren't even actually sure if he, in fact, was a he or a she. Maybe an it, just an object. We're not sure yet.
I found the biggest piece of ash I've ever seen. That ash was just all over her.
And now she's dead. From smoking a blunt force trauma to the head.
Look, an experiment. Look.
How did I die? You know, I'm not really sure, and honestly, I don't care. I'm in heaven. It's way better than being alive. If you're alive, you should kill yourself. It's way better here.
As you can see, I can identify pictures and know what pictures are, and analyze pictures, and identify them.
There's a chocolate fountain. There's a good chocolate fountain. There's a bunch of angels, a bunch of like the fat baby ones too. They're super, super cute. I just love hanging out with them. They're good guys. They're good guys.
Well, in the end, Mr. Jenkins pretty much gets what he deserves. You know, whether it's Mr. Jenkins or the blunt is to blame for the blunt force trauma. But it just goes to show you can't get away with anything. Whether you be a person or an actual cigar, you really just can't get away with murder.
This might have happened on the day of her death. It might have been delicious.
Who was the real crook here?
Mr. Jenkins was the guiltiest person that I've ever met.
Yeah, no, I don't really care about the murder. It was a hammer, for sure. It was a hammer, but I mean, who gives a shit, right?
The guy said he was not guilty. I looked at him, I said, how long do you think I've been doing this?
He's definitely guilty. In my expertise, I would say for sure 100% he did it.
I mean, who's to say what's a hammer and what's not a hammer? They say where there's smoke, there's fire. And where there's a blunt and a hammer, there's probably fire. There's probably smoking, illegal substance of illegal plant.
Some people say a picture's worth 1,000 words. I mean, it's just a picture, really, if you think about it. But maybe $1,000. My time is worth $1,000.
I don't know anything about this murder. I'm just simply a gorilla.
I mean, maybe I hit her with the hammer. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and where there's a hammer, and you hit people with it, and they die, and you go to jail, and your name is Leslie Jenkins.